Hello everyone, welcome to WeFIRE. I'm your host Jenny, and man, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Trump is back in the White House, the internet is in shambles, and concerns for our economic future has reached a level not seen since 2008. As we're all faced with stagnating wages and soaring housing costs, many have turned to society's favorite solution to not making enough money at work. Work more hours. As many as 2 in 5 adults in the US have a side hustle, according to a recent Bankrate survey of 2,500 plus adults. Younger workers are more likely to need an extra job. 53% of Gen Xers and half of millennials have one, Bankrate finds, compared to only 40% of Gen Xers and 24% of baby boomers. In this video, we return to Reddit in hopes of unearthing the truth of side hustles. What side hustles actually bring in money? Should we just get a second job instead? Which side hustles are complete scams that you should avoid? In hopes of answering these questions, I combed through all the most popular side hustle posts on Reddit and compiled a massive list. This is the Master Side Hustle list, an official list of every side hustle I saw proposed on the internet. 42 different side hustles, grouped by color and by quality. The Master Side Hustle list contains every feasible sounding side hustle I saw on Reddit, as well as some ideas I added in myself. I've organized every side hustle into 7 categories, and an 8th maybe category. Then I assessed them all according to scalability, remote opportunity, odds of success, and various other metrics to try and figure out which side hustles are most worth our time. If you want to get right into the top side hustle ideas, feel free to skip to the timestamps shown on screen. If you want to learn more about how I made my assessments first, and what each of the categories mean, then just stick with me, because I'm going to explain them now. The 7 side hustle categories. In the process of making my master list, I came up with 7 different side hustle categories to sort these side hustles into. They are 1. Wealth-producing assets. This is something you can just buy and mostly leave alone. You do still have to maintain it and keep it in working order, but otherwise, it's the closest thing to passive income as it gets. 2. Create an IP. This is where you make something original and monetize it. Being successful here fully depends on the public wanting to spend money on the thing you made, and it usually involves some level of internet marketing and/or passion for the craft. 3. I call this the random online jobs you don't need higher education to do category. The barrier of entry for this category is pretty low. You basically only need a computer and Wi-Fi most of the time. So of course, it's a bit oversaturated. 4. Blue-collar online work. Technically, you don't need to be online to do these jobs, but man, does being online do wonders for your business. 5. Sell your body. To medical professionals. 6. Offline part-time jobs with flexible hours. While most items on the master list can technically be qualified as a job, these are definitely jobs. Most of these, with the exception of mystery shopper, can just be your actual main career, and it wouldn't be strange at all. 7. Random ideas I don't know where else to put. This is the category for side hustles I don't know how to categorize. You can produce food items and sell them at farmers markets, start a cleaning business, put up and take down for sale signs for real estate agents. Truly, the possibilities are endless. Extra bonus category. Almost definitely scams. Crypto games, day trading, Herbalife. Actually, anything that sounds too good to be true and asks you to pay before you can start making money should be treated with great caution. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably an MLM. The 7 rating metrics. Now that we know our job categories, let me introduce you to the 7 metrics I use to rate them. 1. Scalability. How closely tied is the money you make to the hours you work? 2. Expense. How much money do you need to spend in order to get your side hustle off the ground? 3. Hours/effort. How much time/effort does the side hustle require before you can start seeing real money? 4. Uncommon knowledge. Can you be successful with this side hustle with only the sort of stuff everyone would know from high school? Or does it require more education? 5. Work from home. Is the side hustle remote? 6. Payout potential. What is the very most you can possibly earn doing this side hustle if all the stars align and you work crazy hard? 7. Odds of success. What are the chances you'll make real money doing this? Looking at the side hustle master list, you'll notice that there are 3 different colors. Either it's green, peach, or red. Green generally means that the side hustle fulfills the metric. Yes, you can work from home. Yes, the odds of success are very high. Peach means that it depends. You can work from home, maybe. The odds of success isn't a guarantee, but it's like better than nothing. Finally, red means the side hustle fails the metric. No, you can't work from home. No, you don't have high odds of success. Each color is also assigned with a number value. Green is 2, peach is 1, and red is 0. We do this for each side hustle, and then we add up all the numbers at the end for a final score to decide which side hustles are truly the best. But wait, not every metric is created equal. A side hustle with high odds of success but low payout potential, like a garage sale, is much better than one with high payout potential but low odds of success, like buying a lottery ticket. As such, I have added multipliers to each metric. For most people, odds of success is vital to a side hustle. If you can't make money, then what's the point? Times 5. Expense is incredibly important as most of us don't have piles of cash lying around. Times 3. Uncommon knowledge is important. If you have to go back to school to get into this side hustle, then you will probably want to choose something else. Times 2. Work from home is important, especially for side hustles. The time you save is not to be overlooked. Times 2. The rest of the metrics, hours/effort, scalability, and payout potential, need to be considered, but they're not as important as the other 4. Because it will take me way too long to get through every single side hustle on the master list of side hustles, instead we'll be going through the top 6 best side hustles, and then some honorable mentions, and then the unusual and fun ideas. Each of these sections will be clearly marked, so feel free to skip around the video so you can find the side hustles you like best. If you want, I highly encourage you to look through the master list of side hustles yourself. I've put in just about every single side hustle I've ever heard of, and I'll be adding more to it as I come across other interesting ideas. There's bound to be at least one side hustle on there that'll capture your imagination, or your money-back guarantee. Alrighty then, without further ado, my highly subjective list of the top 6 best side hustles. 1. Invest in broad-based index funds.
Getting a job you can tolerate, lowering your expenses, and plowing as much money into the market as possible, then holding on for dear life. Godspeed.
Stocks.
The most unexpectedly overlooked side hustle is investing in broad-based index funds. Most people don't think of stocks as a side hustle, but why not? It's a way to make some additional income, and you're buying an asset. Kind of like how you'd buy a gumball machine. Owning a business, even a very teensy tiny fraction of it, is a side hustle, no matter how you look at it. The simplest way to invest is to save 15% or more, if you're able, of your income every time you're paid, and stick that in a low-cost, broad-based index fund. Setting everything up is simple, and you can do it all fully online. So I guess you could say this is remote. What you'll want to do is open an account with a company that has low-cost index funds. Vanguard, State Street, Charles Schwab, and BlackRock come to mind. You choose the index fund you want, Then you link your bank account. You'll need the name of the financial institution, your bank's routing number, and your account number, so make sure you have those on hand. Finally, you can schedule your payments so that your income automatically and regularly transfers over. If you also open an IRA, you'll save some tax on this too. Okay, you say, I've done that. Easy enough. What now? Now you wait. How long do you wait? All the way until you retire. That's what makes it hard. Many people are tempted to sell when the stocks go up and stop putting their money in when the stocks go down. Trying to beat the market is the reason why so many people fail to match the market. Is it possible to beat the market? Yes, but that's a full-time job that requires sharp insight and nerves of steel. I've done this side hustle myself, and so far my portfolio has, it has matched the market, which is exactly what I was expecting. I didn't put in too much work, the returns have been good, and I started investing in the summer of 2020. So I highly encourage you to get on that as soon as you can. 2. Churning checking/credit card accounts.
Churn 3 new bank accounts per month. If each gives you $200 to $300, it will work with barely any effort. Keep in mind, usually the bonuses don't hit 90 days, so when you start doing this, it will take 3 months for the initial bonuses to post. But just keep rotating 3 new banks into your direct deposit every month, and it's the easiest free money ever.
Churning credit cards and bank accounts for bonuses.
I did that a few years back and went through every major bonus. Between my wife and I, we tried again a few months ago and actually got rejected for the only decent bonuses I saw. I have great credit. Any tips to keep it going?
With the many different banks out there all competing for your patronage, it's no wonder that many of them offer sign-up bonuses and rewards for opening new credit cards. The danger here is that, as the last commenter noted, banks can start to cotton on to what you're up to if everyone does this too much. I've recently tried this one as well and got $45 out of it. The process was a bit tedious, but for the hours worked and the final payout, I really can't complain. Also, I could probably have gotten more if I had more cash sitting around to transfer in. 3. Donate plasma.
I make $640 a month donating plasma.
You do it enough, it will leave you slightly scarred.
Donate plasma. Where I'm at, they pay $500 a month.
If you're qualified for it and it won't complicate your health, you can get fairly good compensation from donating plasma. I would try this, but unfortunately I don't qualify. 4. Medical volunteer.
I like participating in paid observational research studies at hospitals and universities, mostly MRIs and stuff. I didn't think it'd be a regular thing when I started, but it generates a few $100s a month.
Selling yourself for medical research. No joke, I'm involved in a study right now and get $200 a doctor visit and $100 each time I have to do scans or anything else pertaining to the study.
This style of side hustle is heavily dependent on if you live near a medical facility that's regularly running non-invasive research studies. There are also some health risks involved with this one, so be careful which experiments you decide to do and how many of them you pick up. You don't want to end up in a Stanford prison experiment. My roommate used to do this in university. Even though our location was ideal, we lived on campus, she still didn't make too much. A lot of the studies asked for very specific demographics, and a lot of them also didn't pay at all. She really did it more for the experience than for the money. 5. Make a digital product.
Yes, I developed a WordPress plugin to solve an issue I faced, uploaded it on WordPress for others, put up a donation link that made $50 to $100 per month, realized a lot of people were using it, started spending more time on it, people wanted more features and support, I launched a pro version. It recently crossed $300,000 mark.
Creating silly little web games and putting ads on them. Made $50,000 last year.
It could be said that a digital business is some of the easiest to build and easiest to scale. There's very little you need to get started, monetarily speaking, but the ability to code and build websites is a must. A friend of mine is doing this one. He hasn't finished building the website, so I'm not sure what the final result will be. But for the time spent and potential payout, it looks promising. 6. Beta read novels.
I beta read people's novels. I make an easy $200 to $300 a month doing it, but I read fast, so it doesn't take too much of my time. You have to be good at constructive criticism. If you're a good reader, it's not too hard to adapt to it.
How did you get started with that?
I got on Fiverr and looked at how other people advertised it and kinda copied how everyone else advertised beta reading service. It took a few weeks to get my first order, and they left a great review, and they started rolling in after that. For anything more than 50,000 words, I charged $120, which is actually on the lower end of what people charge. And I wrote some inline comments, and then a 2 to 3 page report, and sometimes an author will have specific questions or concerns they want you to look at. I was a full-time student, so I could only do around 3 to 4 a month, and Fiverr does take 20%, but buyers will often tip you too.
Beta reading novels is an unconventional suggestion, but take it from someone who writes as a hobby and wants to publish one day. A good beta reader is a rare and wonderful thing I would happily pay for. If you enjoy reading, and you have a lot of thoughts about the media you consume, this might be the side hustle for you. Honourable mentions. Of course, there are far, far more interesting side hustles than just those top 6. Whether you've already got a side hustle you like, or you're still in the process of looking, you'll benefit from keeping your eyes open and exploring your options. 7. Teach English. There is an abundance of people from all over the world who want to improve their English. If your English is good enough to follow along with this video, and you're a good enough speaker and writer, then teaching English can be a great side hustle. This can mean teaching formal English classes to ESL students, tutoring people who want to learn English as a second or third or fourth language, connecting with an online platform where you can teach English. I've done this one myself very briefly, mostly tutoring adult learners online. The payment per hour is decent. At its peak, I got maybe $150 for maybe 5 hours of work. The main struggle I had was finding clients and booking times that worked for the both of us. But I have to admit that I wasn't trying super hard, so if you do work at it, I think you'll see better results than I did. Even if you're not much for teaching, as long as your speaking is fluent, there is an option for you as well.
I made $108 last week having unstructured conversations online with people who need to practice their English. I started working with Cambly a little over a week ago. You earn $10.20 per hour to chat with people who are learning English as a second language. For the most part, the conversations are just fun and casual. I talked to a little boy about Batman for half an hour, for example. Occasionally, someone will ask me specific questions about English grammar or a certain expression, but if I don't know the answer, I can just quickly Google it and send them a link. The best part about it is that you can do it at literally any time of day. I've worked with other similar websites, and most of them want you to have a set schedule, which can be difficult when their peak hours are at an inconvenient time due to time zone difference. Also, a lot of the other sites require you to dress professionally or conduct lessons in a very specific way or have a high-quality headset, and this site doesn't have very strict rules in that sense. It's very casual, very easy, and actually pretty fun. I applied and was approved within a couple of days and was able to get started right away.
8. Renting out costumes.
I purchased a realistic-looking T-Rex costume and started booking birthday parties and other events on the weekend. We just cleared $82,000 in revenue. We started in March of this year.
Bought adult-sized Olaf from Frozen and Chewbacca costumes. Rented them around town for kids' birthday parties. Just grab the costume from my house and bring it back in a few days. Easy money.
Never tried this myself, but now I'm tempted. The numbers speak for themselves. $82,000 in revenue for a T-Rex costume.
Damn!
Part of why it makes so much money must be because it's an untapped market. Get in there while supplies last, and, for heaven's sake, please make sure the costumes are well cleaned. 9. Dumpster diving.
I live in a very rural area in Wisconsin, and I told my wife I could make $1,000 in a few hours, and she told me I was being ridiculous, HR professional by trade. So I went to the junkyard the next day and grabbed about $1,000 worth of parts and paid $65 out the door. I slapped them on eBay that night, and within 24 hours I had sold $500 in parts.
The upside is that this side hustle is obviously free to do, but the downside is that you have to know exactly what to look for and also be willing to get your hands dirty. Also, one I haven't tried. My skin isn't thick enough. 10. Pod. Print on demand. Printing on demand is when you first find a supplier website where you can find blank t-shirts, hats, hoodies, even keychains, and phone cases. Then upload your own designs to put on them. Printify, Gelato, and Printful are the more common suppliers. After that, you could open a website, maybe on Amazon or Etsy or Shopify, whichever you like. The best thing about Pod is that you don't need to keep inventory, so there's no need to worry about storage or taking the risk of buying a whole truckload of t-shirts that you're not sure you'll be able to sell. That's where the name comes from. Print on demand. When there's demand, that's when they actually print. This one's my own edition, so there aren't any Reddit testimonials. I'd give it a try if I was any good at art. Pod is a relatively simple and painless way of dipping your toes into monetizing your own work and starting your own business. If you're an artist, I encourage you to go online and do some research for yourself. 11. Vending machine. This gentleman makes $2.5 thousand a month with ice vending machines. Another idea I never would have thought of. But if you live in a warmer climate and have access to key locations, an ice vending machine is a great idea. But if your home is cooler, other options are available too, like regular vending machines, gumball machines, or even coffee vending machines. 12. ATMs.
ATMs. Bought one as a joke. 12 machines later and about $30,000 a year. It's a nice little side gig.
A similar idea to vending machines. ATMs pay out according to transactions. Although keeping the ATM stocked with cash requires more liquidity than keeping a vending machine stocked, the bright side is that, unlike food, money can't expire. Baby/house/pet sitting.
Babysit 1 to 2 kids from after school until 11 p.m. Set up a room with bunk beds and put them to bed about 8. Second shift people are desperate. You should be able to get $2,000 per kid per month.
I would do more research on this. In some states, if you are taking care of your kids in your own home, for money, you need a license permit to do so. If you are taking care of kids in their house like a traditional babysitting, then you don't. Taking care of kids at night can also bring different or more rules. I don't do these kinds of inspections in Florida, but I work with people who do. So this is at least the law in Florida. I would imagine it is similar elsewhere.
Are you a kid person? My coworkers and I are always desperate for daytime childcare when they're sick or daycare is closed. Finding a babysitter for a date night is so hard. Nannies and babysitters typically make $15 to $20 an hour. I've paid $50 an hour when I had an exam and was truly desperate.
Babysitting jobs are plentiful, as most households need dual income these days to keep up with the cost of living. I did babysit in my teens, but not so much lately. I personally found the experience to be fun and the pay decent, but that could be because I was a kid at the time. If you're not good with kids, pet sitting and house sitting are also good options. Only issue is that there might not be as many people who need those services, so sourcing clients can be a bit more challenging. 14. Weekend/night shift part-time jobs.
DJing makes me $400 a month.
DJing was surprisingly lucrative. I got in with some local cats. One dude in particular would organize these local hip-hop showcases and had me DJ for most of them for a period of time. I was making $100 each gig I did of his. Most lucrative event I did was a Halloween event at a brewery that paid $750. A good way to get your foot in the door is to practice at home and get together a short mix to showcase your skills and go around to local bars that have DJs perform. And just ask if you could fill a slot. Get the owner's contact info and email them that mix.
I make $1,200 a month working at a warehouse part-time on weekends.
My girlfriend regularly has to sell plasma to make ends meet. She also pet sits and door dashes. Things are rough right now. I hate to say it, but the best side hustle in my experience is a second job. It is not easy to work 2 jobs, especially if you have to do them both in the same day. But it is the fastest and most reliable way to earn more money.
There's a lot of proposed side hustles that fall into this category. Some of them are more fun, like DJing and bartending. Others are more tedious, like working in a warehouse and overnight security. Either way, what matters is that timing falls on evenings and or weekends and the hours are flexible. I worked part-time basically the entire way through university because if I paid for a portion of my tuition, my parents agreed to cover the rest. I won't lie, it was exhausting and my grades suffered. If you get a second part-time job on top of your main thing, I strongly recommend you find one that's remote, or failing that, one that's located close to home. 15. Filling out online surveys.
Prolific is pretty good to make an extra 50 pounds or so a month.
I make $800 consistently a month on platforms like Prolific, MTurk, and Connect Cloud Research.
Can you please explain more?
I searched it up so you didn't have to. It's survey review websites where you do survey/game review and get money for it. They lie to you and say you could get up to $300 a month. But the truth is you're getting barely that. Some reviews have a good payout, but they're very, very rare. Most are paying you maybe $2, but usually less than that. I would take you 5 hours a day per week to make somewhat of a profit out of this.
Thank you for saving my time.
I don't know about the others, but Prolific does earn you money. There is a long waiting list, though, because it's one of the few money earners out there. It's not your usual survey company. It's linked to educational institutions, etc., and you get decent money from it. Not enough to quit your job, but maybe enough to pay a bill.
Okay, so I did actually give Prolific a go. I was very lucky they gave me an account instantly. It must be a demographic thing. I'm East Asian with Canadian citizenship, if you're curious. Anyway, I have been on the platform for about 2 weeks now, and so far they sent me 26 surveys, 12 of which I qualified for. In total, I've made about 34 cents USD for maybe 5 hours of total work. The main thing that's annoying about Prolific is that you basically have to sit at a computer all day waiting for surveys to come in. Very often, you'll be too slow and miss a survey you could have qualified for. This takes a toll mentally. So even though I only actually worked for about 5 hours, in practice, I have Prolific open on my computer almost constantly, just hoping for a survey to come in. I have heard, though, that apparently if you're in the States, Prolific sends you more surveys. But yeah, Prolific isn't bad if you want some pocket change. The downside is that you don't make as much if you're not American. You might get hit with an insanely long waitlist, and Prolific has been known to kick users off without reason. Aside from Prolific, user testing and user interview also seemed promising in terms of hours worked and pay offered. They do focus groups for companies who need feedback from their target demographic. My application to user testing has yet to be approved, so I can't exactly speak on that platform. Other surprising side hustles people had success doing. I won't lie, this section of the video is mostly for my own amusement. While combing through Reddit for side hustle suggestions, I came across a good number that I never expected people to think to do, never mind make money on. Here are some of the more interesting proposals. Real estate sign guy.
Doing work for real estate agents, either photography, drone footage, or open house signs put out and pick up.
I am a realtor and I love my sign guy. Pay him $100 a day to put down and pick up open house signs. Takes him a total of an hour to do, and he makes about $400 to $600 per month off me alone.
This is such an unexpected idea that it might just be worth a shot. Just go to your local real estate office, show them your gallery of photos if you've got them, and offer to start them off at a low rate. If you've got the car and the time, this can be a pretty chill side hustle. Escorting.
Definitely not for everyone, but escorting, I charge $550 for standard hour. Pick own hours, set own prices. Could see 1 or 2 people a month or see a lot more.
If I was attractive enough, I would definitely do this, or OF LOL, congrats to you for getting that money.
A lot of people suggested OF in a joking, sarcastic way, because of course they did. This is Reddit after all. But being completely serious, if you've got a good eye for angles, outfit, makeup, and maybe some experience with Photoshop, there's no reason why you can't succeed on OF, even if your appearance is only average. And you'll probably have to be a woman, but just beware though, as with all jobs, you've got to put in the work if you want the reward. Many people have seen great success on OF, but the truly high earners are the minority. Sharpen hair shears.
Sounds nuts, but sharpening scissors for hairstylists and clippers for groomers. You have to be good and invest some initial money for equipment, but it's crazy how many people need it.
No, that doesn't sound nuts at all. I came across many side hustles where people fixed or refurbished something and resold it for a profit. Focusing on sharpening hair shears is a great niche. Sell rocks and crystals.
My kid sells polished rocks on eBay and makes about $500 to $1,000 profit each month. A hobby that became a side hustle. He created a business for it.
My ex-wife and I used to sell rocks, crystals, and gemstones online. It was insanely profitable. The markup on that stuff is ridiculous. There was one crystal I sold for $500. Could have easily sold it for 2 to 3 times as much TBH.
It probably takes some time to build up the clientele, but if you've got a passion for collecting cool rocks and debris, selling polished rocks can be remarkably lucrative. I do want to mention though, this side hustle is somewhat location dependent. If you live near a beach or if you know where to look to find natural crystals, then you have a ready supply of nice rocks. If not, you might need to do more driving around. Rent out luxury cars that don't work.
Saw this posted in another thread similar to this, but can't find the comment and commenter, so paraphrasing here. A guy in the Florida area took a settlement or inheritance in the low 6 figures, bought several damaged Lamborghinis, Ferraris, etc., made them look brand new, but did not actually do anything to get their moving parts working. He rents those supercars to celebrities and influencers for thousands of dollars for a 6-ish hour time frame, drops the cars off where the customer wants them, all so the customer can take pictures with the cars as if they own them. Once the time limit is up, the cars are whisked away to another photo shoot.
Duckin' genius. Must be nice. Must be duckin' nice.
A very interesting idea for sure. As a long-term side hustle though, you really gotta wonder how sustainable it is. Social media trends really do have the life cycle of an insect. Give it another 5 years and who knows if influencers will still want to have photo shoots with supercars. There will probably always be a demand for this, but I definitely anticipate that demand changing as trends change. Laundromats.
If you're looking for cash flow, it's hard to beat laundromats in my opinion. I own a couple, so take this for what it's worth. But the returns are insanely high. They're very little work when you buy them right, which makes them time-independent income. They are simple, cash businesses, no invoicing, payments up front, customers do the work, lots of streams of income, vending, ATM, toy/candy machines, massage chairs, etc. Recession-resistant and more.
Laundromats have a high barrier of entry. They're very expensive, but it's a necessity for many people, which gives them excellent staying power. These days, with the housing market so precarious, it's not a bad idea to investigate alternative assets, like laundromats, if you've got the money for it. Mystery shopping. What the heck is mystery shopping? Okay, so it looks like your role is to follow instructions, buy assigned items, then write up a detailed report about the experience. Afterwards, you get reimbursed for your purchases, so you're essentially paid in goods and services, and sometimes probably money as well. Not a bad idea if you're looking for new experiences, but maybe not the best option if what you need most is cash.
Mystery shopping average around $50 an hour between payment and free items. But I am in a major metropolitan area and can map a route of close high-end shops.
Sweepstakes casino matched betting. Is that what it's called? I'll leave it up to you to decide if that one's worthwhile or not. I am too scared to look into something with betting, casino, and gambling in the description. As with all things, side hustles are at the mercy of supply and demand. If everyone is out to donate plasma, no one would need to get paid to do it. If everyone went dumpster diving, then anything you might be able to sell will become far more scarce. Already, many people online have noticed that paying online surveys are much less lucrative than they used to be as more and more people catch on and decide to sign up. Apparently, 2 years ago, you could make $200 to $300 a month on mTurk, but now it's closer to $30. Prolific has a wait list that can take forever, and if you make it in, the studies aren't as plentiful as they used to be. A new untapped market is best, but failing that, if you're able to get into a side hustle with a higher barrier of entry, aka something that's more expensive or requires specific industry knowledge, then the longevity of a side hustle like that will be much better. Finally, if all else fails, you can always get a second part-time job on your weekends. A side hustle doesn't have to be a scalable business. If you're looking for something to supplement an essential need, like rent, then a second job would be better than a business anyway, because it's more reliable. The master side hustle list contains all the side hustles on Reddit and some of my own additions, ordered by category and their merits/demerits. If you've got personal experience with the side hustles I mentioned in this video, or on the master list, or even if it's a side hustle I don't know about at all, me and the other viewers would love to hear from you. There's only so many hours in a day, and a lot of these side hustles I haven't tried at all, so perspective from someone who actually has experience with them would be very much appreciated. Tap that like button if you liked this video, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!